PFT Media.
What's up, my dudes? It's Billy D, and welcome to the Post-Mortem.
Shut up and sit down.
Holy cow, episode 10, halfway there. Can't believe it myself. I figured we would kick off October with a horror-heavy episode. Nothing too crazy though. Number 55. This is the film that launched one of the great horror film villains of all time. And of course I'm talking about Pinhead, the leader of the Cenobites, in Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Hellraiser is an adaptation of Clive Barker's own novella, The Hellbound Heart. And he tapped his longtime theater collaborator, Doug Bradley, to play the leader of the Cenobites. In the book, he's called the Engineer. Hellraiser is a dark movie. This was my first taste of cosmic horror. It was my first taste of really nihilistic horror. It was such an interesting experience the first time I saw this film. And of course, the Cenobites are terrifying. They're these bondage nightmares that, walked right out of hell. Each of them is clad in leather and straps and buckles with various things jabbed in them, or their throats stretched open. It's a very graphic movie. Pinhead is such a radical departure from all the other horror movie villains of the time. At the top of the heap in the 80s, the big horror villains were either mutes or cackling madmen: Chucky, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. And then you have Pinhead, who's this cosmically indifferent individual. He only wants to inflict suffering in the hopes that it'll make his heart beat just a little bit faster. Number 54. Number 54 launched the pop culture phenomenon that is Freddy Krueger. We're talking about Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. What is there to say about Freddy Krueger and Robert Englund's performance as Freddy? He is pure energy. It's awesome to watch. Over the course of the next 7 or 8 films, Freddy evolved into this truly perverse monster. The effects are really well done for the time, and since most of the film, or most of the effects-driven scenes happen in these this dream world, then the wonkiness actually adds something to them instead of taking away. Watch Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 53. This is a fun one for me. I love this movie, even though it's really, really fucking bad. I love the Friday the 13th films. I love them all individually for specific reasons, with the exception of Jason Goes to Hell. I really don't like that movie. So before we get to what my favorite Friday film is, let's just take a moment and enjoy the majesty of Crispin Glover dancing. Now that we've enjoyed that, let's talk about Jason X. Jason X is my favorite Friday movie. It's big, it's dumb, it's loud, it's self-aware, it's perfect in a weird way. When you think about the missteps that the Halloween franchise went through, and the missteps that the Friday franchise went through, and how in the 2000s, they tried desperately to make these franchises relevant again. With Halloween Resurrection, the one with Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks and the internet and the reality TV show. A lot going on in that movie. None of it is good. Or you go even further. You literally reach for the stars. You take Jason to space. Why not? It's brilliant. You get David Cronenberg to act in it briefly, and then you just have a bunch of kids, horny kids on a spaceship, getting chopped up by Jason. It's fucking great. It has some of the best and funniest kills in the franchise, and it's just such a dumb movie that it comes out the other side. It like goes through the looking glass of stupidity. That's why I love Jason X. Number 52. Number 52 might be my favorite Sam Raimi movie, and that's Evil Dead 2. It's such a well-balanced comedy and horror film, and it's a surprisingly graphic and brutal horror film at that. When you take out the humor, you get the Fede Alvarez Evil Dead film, which has its own merits. I kind of like it. It's so serious, it's kind of hilarious, even though the story is a total mess. But Sam Raimi did something amazing with the Evil Dead 2. He made a sequel that was better than the original. It took everything that was great about the original and just made it bigger and better and had more money behind it. And Bruce Campbell had more experience, so he was better at acting. And it's one of the greatest physical comedy performances I've ever seen. And you don't even need to see part 1 to see part 2, because he sort of remakes part 1 in about 5 minutes at the beginning of the film. So it's just like a previously on Evil Dead, like, and then gets you caught right up to where you should be. Evil Dead 2 is like the perfect movie for teenagers. Number 51. Number 51 is on the opposite end of the spectrum from Evil Dead 2. And that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie is so fucking scary. It still works. It still gets your heart racing. Leatherface and the rest of the family are truly terrifying. Gunnar Hansen's performance as Leatherface is so good in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's invincible, yet vulnerable, and he doesn't have any spoken dialogue. There are grunts and squeals, and he's perfect. It's the perfect horror movie bad guy. He just is doing what he does. He's not necessarily evil. Like, what he does sucks, but he's just doing what he does. That's the craziest thing about it. He doesn't have a motive. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. This film was a nightmare to make. They made it during a heat wave. Everyone was miserable. You can see it. You can see the anguish. You can see the tension. You can see the stress that everyone's under. There's something very sticky about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's got such a great title, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That name alone is enough to strike fear into you. Rip that Band-Aid off and do it. You won't regret it. It's definitely an experience. We did it. Made it through episode 10. And we are about to enter the Halloween season, which is my favorite time of year. We're gonna have some really cool bonus videos to celebrate my favorite holiday. And look forward to a New York Comic-Con wrap-up video. I spent 4 days there. It was a ton of fun. If you've been following my Instagram, you've seen my friend Brian. We've done a bunch of shots of Tobias Funke taking over Comic-Con. Stay cool. I'm Billy D.
A PFT Media production.